Okay, this is just some testing. What I'm doing now, I'm working on my, now that I've gotten all the broadcasting equipment in place, now I'm working to further refine my audio levels and also document the settings so that going forward I can have consistency. So, any questions that you have, obviously, feel free to chime in. If you've been searching Google or YouTube and you stumbled upon this video, then you were probably one that was looking for some setup advice for the Rodecaster Pro and or the ATEM Mini Pro. And I know this has been, setting this up has been it hasn't. That's the cool thing about it. I'm going to take these off. And testing sound effect. That's next to the top volume. I'm going to put it up on top volume. Okay, that's the loudest volume for sound effect. And that's also the loudest volume. And I'm speaking while it's playing as a test. So, yeah, just working on all the audio levels. Obviously, feel free to ask questions, and that's part of the reason I'm doing this. The best true test for any piece of live streaming equipment is testing during an actual live stream. So I've gotten through the initial setup hurdles, and now I'm just trying to refine. Like, I'm looking in my studio monitor, I'm looking for green fringes on my shirt because of the green screen, and just trying to find the settings that'll for my environment, because I keep all the camera and lighting placement consistent. That's anything, anytime you're doing any sort of video production work, the fewer variables that you can introduce, the better. So since I'm always live streaming from the studio in this same location, if I keep the lighting and the camera placement and the audio levels and all of that consistent, in theory, it should be the same quality every time. So let's see, I'm looking at the chroma key here. Let's see, spill is 0. Okay, flare suppression. Whoa, see, I turned myself kind of like a reddish color with that flare suppression. There's a fine line with this. See, that looks like I'm on fire or something. And then that right there, you just gotta, again, just playing with the settings here. So that's a flare suppression of 22.8. And where you can really see are your shoulders, the hairs on your arms, if you've got a good chroma key or not. See, my green screen wall, see, I'm tapping it right now. Obviously, my hands are clean, they're dry. You never want to put blemishes on your green screen. But see, that's touching the green screen wall. So in a perfect world, I would have a larger studio. And I don't need these headphones on right now because I don't need to monitor the audio at this second. But in a perfect world, I'd have a larger studio, and I would have more distance between my talk show desk and the green screen wall. But I'm working with what I've got currently. So, obviously the objective here is to get everything out that I can out of this studio, and then once the earnings allow, upgrade to a larger studio with the proper distance and this, that, and the other. But yeah, so that's the audio. I got these sound effects here on the soundboard. Obviously I've got the ability to bring in a caller by way of telephone. So, that's functionality that the Rodecaster Pro introduced. And, aside from this broadcast quality audio, the cool thing about this Rodecaster Pro is that, if you've got a podcast where let's say you had multiple participants in the studio, you can connect up to 4 microphones on this. So, not that I plan on having any people local, inside the studio. That's not my goal. But if I ever did in the future, this equipment is capable of that. So, that's super cool. Obviously, it gives it it's got what's called the Aphex on board, which is Aphex voice exciter and the Aphex big bottom. Those are technologies built into the Rodecaster Pro. So you just get a level of audio quality that you can't get if you're simply running a mic, even a high quality mic through a camera, or a high quality mic through a computer's USB port. So, you know, this audio is great. The the biggest thing I want to figure out, and the good thing is this Rodecaster makes it possible. You know, when I pull people in using Skype, and and hopefully they don't start charging for Skype, but being able to use at least what's currently a free tool, to have face on video participants is huge, and I'm able to do that by using this Rodecaster Pro in conjunction with the ATEM Mini Pro without getting any echo, without getting any sort of wonkiness. It's just a natural. Here's your guest, your live guest on your YouTube live stream. So that's a cool feature that this brings to the table. And jumping over to the ATEM Mini Pro that's over there, having these multiple HDMI inputs for video, and they carry audio as well. So I'm able to, again, and, check out, and I've linked it within this. This is just a test live show, very informal. Ask any questions you may have about ATEM Mini Pro, Rodecaster Pro, and after this live show concludes, this will just be a video that will be archived on my channel if you want to play it back later. So let's see what I want to do. You know what I want to do? I want to move this over to, I want to show y'all how all this works here. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, I'm going to switch, before I move this over there, I'm going to switch to, hold on one second here. So I'm going to show you all what's called the ATEM software control, which is the, what am I trying to say? It's a software piece that works like the physical buttons on the ATEM Mini Pro. So I'm running the software on my laptop. So let me fire this over here. Let's see here. Bring this over. We're going to make this full screen. And then, so here's what's really cool here. Okay, so, sorry, just had a little bit of spam in there. Let me fix that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to go over to, let's see. I messed myself up. I hid my, crap. Hold on. Sorry, I'm looking at a very small screen. There we go. Now I'm going to move this. We're going to be good. I'm just going to pop this up so you can see what the software interface looks like. Okay, I got it back. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share. Okay, so see, there I am in front of my desktop. So I'm going to go full screen here. So this is the, what you're seeing now, you're seeing me in front of my computer's desktop. And you're probably seeing me in front of the in front of what's called the ATEM software control. So ATEM software control is the Blackmagic software that you know, that if you have a ATEM Mini Pro, which is what I use, and by the way, I recommend the ATEM Mini Pro over the ATEM Mini, although they look very similar from a design perspective. With the ATEM Mini Pro, you're getting what's called multi-view. Check out my other videos where I show you the ATEM Mini Pro's multi-view. At least with the current firmware, to my knowledge, ATEM Mini does not have multi-view, and that in itself is worth it. The second thing that the ATEM Mini does not have, and the ATEM Mini Pro does have, is the ability to stream to YouTube or other destination straight from the device. If you get the ATEM Mini, it still depends. It's basically a glorified webcam for your computer. It doesn't have, even though it has the network jack on the ATEM Mini can be used for software control like this, but it can't be used to actually stream to the you know, to YouTube or Facebook or whatever. So what we're going to do now is see, and you can't see it because I got my head in front of the way, but I'm going to take the chroma key off, and then you should just see the screen here, the software control, and I'm going to guide you through a few things within this software, which is pretty cool. So you can let's see. See, camera 1 is me. So, you know, when you see, when I disappeared, by the way, when I just disappeared from the live stream, from the front of the screen, all I did is do the on air. So if I do on air, it's going to take my cam 1, which is my only video camera that I got connected currently. It's going to take camera 1, and then it's going to use cam 2. See if I do on air, and I'll do it just so you can see it. So see, now when I clicked on air, you're seeing me again in front of this software, the ATEM software control. So, you know, it's using cam 1, it's using cam 2, which is my extended desktop. And then when I do the on air, it causes me to magically appear in front of that background. And again, for my live shows, when you see the background, in those scenarios, I'm using cam 4, which cam 4 is my Apple TV. So let's see, I'm going to show you. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I went to multi-view. Oh no, hold on. By the way, I'm working with a small. So see, now you're seeing just cam 4 without me at all. And cam 4 is my Apple TV. Let's see. Okay, I'm getting this back here. What happened is that instead of having my extended monitor, instead of having it full screen, I flipped it into multi-view, so I'm barely seeing it across the room. I'm trying to regain control here. Okay, I got it back. Okay, so I grabbed it over here. So now we're going to do output, computer. There we go. Okay, so with cam 4, what you're seeing with cam 4 is my Apple TV that's continuously looping my background video. And then in the software interface, again, if I do on air, then what will happen, I will appear magically in front of that background. So the background, the way to look at this, the way to understand the ATEM Mini Pro is, well, there's 4 HDMI inputs. And it calls, instead of HDMI 1, 2, 3, and 4, it calls it camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, and camera 4. Keep in mind, those don't have to be cameras. They could all be cameras. That would be fine. But in my scenario, and I'll bump this back over so you can see it here. In my scenario, let's see, let me take myself off of the green screen, and I'm just going to show you the desktop. So when you're seeing the when you're looking at the ATEM Mini Pro, and again, that's what you're seeing now because I just flipped it up. When you're seeing the ATEM software control, that's just the oh, actually, I didn't flip it up. There we go. Now, there it is. Okay, so all that ATEM software control is the software piece that controls the physical ATEM Mini Pro that's on my desk across the room, not in front of me. I've got the Rodecaster Pro in front of me on this desk. But, anything you're doing here is just as if you were in front of the physical device, and you can do a lot more too. You can go into the media tab, and you can drag your drag PNGs in here. At least with this firmware level, and this is something I would like to see in a future version of the ATEM Mini Pro, and it's even something that if they could offer it as an add-on option, it would be great. A couple things. As it currently sits, I can drag PNGs or JPEGs or whatever, a variety of different still image formats in here. Obviously, with the PNG with the transparent background, when you watch my live show and I've got the I've got IrixGuy's Adventure Channel or IrixGuy's live show logo at the bottom. That's a PNG that I dragged in here, and then I just use it to overlay. So you're looking at a bunch of layers. If Blackmagic wants to improve this, and I love their product, by the way, but if they want to take it to the next level, I would like to see a future version that has an ample amount of integrated storage, or just the ability to stick in a an SSD or a thumb drive and pull videos in here, full motion videos. I think that would be wonderful, because see, my current workflow, and there's nothing wrong with this, but looking here at these represent the 4 HDMI inputs. So number one is my camera, my face on video camera, Sony Alpha. Number two is what you're seeing right now. It's just the screen share. It's my extended monitor, and on that extended monitor, I'm using ATEM software control, which is connected by way of the network to the ATEM Mini Pro. Camera 3 is an old Apple TV that I have that tops out at 1080. And it's, I'm considering replacing it with another 4K Apple TV, because Camera 4 is my 4K Apple TV, which has the latest and greatest, I think they call it tvOS. And just a few small things that it'll do that, that my old Apple TV won't. Obviously, it'll play 4K videos, so I don't have to re-export my videos to make them work. So the way I'm currently using it, Camera 3 is just the old Apple TV, and that's what I use for my 1080p intro and outro segments. And I can, share other 1080p videos with it as well. But Camera 4 is what I'm doing the green screen with, when I go back and you see me in front of the green screen. And then there's Program View, there's Preview. So this right here, and I'll show you here in a second. So right now you're just seeing Cam 2, which is my extended desktop, my computer's monitor. So Program is what you're seeing, which is Cam 2. So now let's say that we want to cut over, and we want to cut over from seeing the desktop, and you want to see me in front of the green screen. So here's how to accomplish that. Up here in Preview, which is the top, you select your primary camera. So in my case, it's camera number 1. And then what I do is I do, let's see. Well, it's going to overlay me in front of that, actually. And see, this gets tricky. You really need multiple. You really need a monitor that's close to you. See, this gets hard to see because it's across the room, and these buttons are pretty small. But let's see. I'm going to flip over to multi-view again so I can see what's going on here. So yeah, now you see me in front of my computer's desktop, and then see if I drag that back over. See, there goes the ATEM software control. So I guess where I'm trying to go with this, Cam 2 is my, now I've got it to where I can see everything from the studio here. So Cam 2 is the background layer. The background layer where you're seeing this ATEM software control. Cam 1 is me. And when I do this on air button, see, I just did on air and I went away. But if I do on air again, that, you know, puts me in front of the background, which could be anything that's plugged into the HDMI. Again, this is just my laptop's US or Thunderbolt 3 to HDMI cable. So it's, you know, it's just it's like a monitor. You know, it's capturing my laptop's second monitor. But, you know, that could be any video source. See, for example, if I switch this over to 4, see, now I'm in front of, you know, now I'm in front of my green screen backdrop. And that's the video that's continuously looping from the Apple TV 4K. So this is a really, really powerful tool. And then, of course, here on my Rodecaster, I can do sound effects. There's a sound effect there. You know, a variety of different sound effects. And I can use my headphones to hear everything. So, you know, it's when you combine the Rodecaster Pro with the ATEM Mini Pro, it's you get the best of both worlds. You get the best audio, and then you also get the you know, all these video inputs from your ATEM Mini Pro. So audio on my desk, video on the other side of the room. So that's it's really powerful. But yeah, the best thing is this chroma key, this green screen right now. This is all being done by the Rodecaster, and not the Rodecaster, but the ATEM Mini Pro itself. So even if I didn't have this laptop, my green screen would still work. You know, because my laptop is well. Let me step back from that statement. I did use my laptop to initiate the AirPlay to my Apple TV 4K of this background, this video background. So, but I could have done that from my iPhone as well, or an iPad. So the laptop for this green screen is not necessary. You just need a way to click play on your, if you're using a full motion video. And again, you can't use, at least with the current ATEM Mini Pro and the current ATEM Mini Pro firmware, you can't use a video backdrop by incorporating those videos in. You can't copy those videos over to the ATEM Mini Pro. You can only copy over still images at this point. And I think you may be able to do sound clips as well. I'd have to check. But yeah, so for the video, you know, if you're like me and you're using an Apple TV 4K, that's great. You could have a camcorder, for that matter, with a video out or any sort of compatible HDMI video source, and just, you know, loop a video and put that in the background. You can do it with or without sound. I just did it without audio, but if I want to add wave sound, or, you know, people chattering or whatever, I could add that. And, you know, that could be part of the green screen effect. So it's very it's extremely powerful. And again, I'm just, you know, I'm doing this just for the sole purpose of playing around with the different settings, and, you know, sharing some of this with y'all. You know, like I said, I've got a few very in-depth tutorial videos now, but I've got a lot more I'll be putting together. And, you know, any questions you have, you know, maybe you're watching this after the fact. Maybe you're not watching it live. Maybe you're watching this a week or so from now. You know, any questions you have, just comment down below, man, and I'll try to whip up a video. So yeah, it's a really cool tool, and I'm going to show you. Let me go back over to the ATEM here. Okay, there it is. So what I'm going to do now is show you the, let's see, let me go back to full screen. Okay, there's full screen. So now we've got, see, now I'm going to flip back over. I'm going to flip program to Cam 2. Now, see, you can do preview. So if I want to do like a transition over, I can select Cam 2 and then click auto. and that'll transition me over. So now you're seeing cam 2, and let's see. Yep. So yeah, you can go in. One of the other cool things I like about the ATEM software control is going into the audio tab. Because see here you can see your, and these are the audio levels for the inputs on the on the ATEM Mini Pro. So you can see right here, this is grayed out. Camera number 1 is my that's my Sony camera, but you can see I don't have it on because you'd have to push on. On will make the audio stay on, so if I turn that on, that would be using the camera's internal audio, which we don't want. We want the professional Rodecaster audio that you're hearing now. But you can also do an AFV, which is audio follows video. So if I did want to use the audio from that source, but only when that source is visible, I would do AFV. If I want to keep it on all the time, I would do on. See, as you can see here, for my mic 1, which again, check out my how to connect ATEM Mini Pro to Rodecaster Pro tutorial video. But within that video, you'll see that I've got a physical cable running from my Rodecaster Pro monitor out, the Rodecaster Pro's audio out. And then it goes into mic 1, which is the microphone input of the ATEM Mini Pro that you're seeing here. Now, keep in mind, and it's in my tutorial, but when you set this up, if you're using a Rodecaster Pro like I am, you've got to go down to this gear icon, which I don't know why they put it down there, kind of hidden, and then you've got to go to audio, and then you've got to go to general, and you've got to make sure that the mic input you're using with the Rodecaster Pro is set to line and not set to microphone. If you're mic 1 or mic 2, whichever one you're using to connect your Rodecaster Pro, if it's on microphone, you're probably going to get buzzing and hissing, and it's an awful sound. So the solution for that, assuming that your cable is good, is to switch it over to line. And, having it switched over to line, you should be good. So, but yeah, this is just another cool feature. Now this, looking at these audio levels here, if you didn't have your ATEM Mini Pro connected to your network, you wouldn't be able to connect and see this. So you definitely want to connect your ATEM Mini Pro to your network, because when you do that, obviously that lets you use the ATEM software control that we're in right now. And just having it for these audio levels alone is well worth it. But I mean, obviously, being able to go in and, and have virtual buttons is huge. And there's also, and something I'm going to explore here soon, there's also the ability to create macros within ATEM software control. So once I iron out my workflow for the live streams, I'm going to start messing with the macros and get better automate a lot of these tasks that I'm performing while I'm live streaming. So when you see me on the laptop during the live streams, I'm not just reading comments. I'm also using my ATEM software control interface. There's also an interface for the Rodecaster Pro. Now it's pretty limited. I mean, really for it, it's going to update your firmware, and it'll let you change the sound effects that are loaded on the soundboard. The sound effects I've got now, like this one, these, and I can control the volume audio levels of those too. I turned it down this time. See there, it's down lower. Those sound effects were just preloaded by Rode. So, one of the next things I want to do is explore, where I can obtain quality royalty-free sound effects, and then load some of those up. But to be frank, man, it's nice having them in the buttons there on the actual, Rodecaster Pro. But that's a feature I probably won't use that much, because there's an app I downloaded on the iPhone, and see, I can plug the iPhone into this, like I've done in a few live shows already, and I can use a soundboard from the iPhone, and it'll play through as well. So, or I might, you know, find some sound effects I like and go through and label these buttons. I mean, not the actual buttons, but label the little thing that surrounds it. What would be really cool in a future version of Rodecaster Pro, if Rode could add some sort of intelligence to where these buttons could display the, you know, the title of the effect, you know, through software. I think that would be really cool. And then that way you wouldn't have to handwrite anything on something that, you know, sits beside it or whatever. So, well, what is cool, and I'll pull it over here so you can see it. I'm getting it right now. See the, whoa, I just hit my panel. I hope I didn't mess it up. Let's see. I think I got it. Yeah, so what's cool is, you know, the Rodecaster Pro, it came with a few things. It came with these, which you can put around the edge of the sound effect buttons, which that's kind of neat. So you can put those in there and just kind of lay it down, and it'll, you know, you could write on these and, you know, say whatever's on whatever the button controls. So that's one way to do it. And then they've also got these, which are just kind of like flashcards. I guess if I have a quick erase marker or whatever, that I could use this, and, you know, at a quick glance I could look down and say, okay, well, you know, here's the sound effects of the day. So that's nice. They included these cards. It's very good paper. I mean, it's, you know, but still, I would love to see in a future version of the Rodecaster Pro, I'd love to see it where they could, you know, you could just use software and put whatever title for the button you wanted to. But the layout and design of this Rodecaster Pro is, I mean, it's actually quite incredible. They did a really good job. Everything's got a really good tactile feel. One thing I would do is, if I was Rode, I might, on the feet on the bottom, because my table is pretty flat, but it's not perfectly flat. So this thing rocks a little bit. You can hear me rocking it right now. If they had those little things that would unscrew, you know, kind of like furniture, a lot of tables and stuff have, where you can twist and, you know, and make everything perfectly level, you know, that would be a cool, that would be a cool addition in the future. But it's a really, it's a really good product. Let's see, I'm going to go to, see, I just minimized that. That's my software control, but see, I can go, let's see, I'll put this over here so it's behind me. So let's see, you can see it says preview. So I've got preview on 4. So then what I do, with this on 4, and then if I do auto, it's going to transition to my green screen backdrop. So it'll do like a nice fade. You can see that little bar, and you can manually do that bar as well. So see, there's program down here, and then there's preview. So if I wanted to jump back to where my computer's desktop is in the background instead of my green screen backdrop, you know, I can click the auto button, or I can drag a little handle. And this one I'm going to do a manual fade. We go really slow. So that was manual. So see, now I'm going to come back to the, let's see, to the screen there. It's going to go back to the, let's see. Yep, see, now I'm back in the, see, that was a insanely slow fade on purpose. So yeah, it's just a really, really cool piece of software to mess with. You know, and again, the best part is that, I mean, this is going to the, it's just talking directly to the ATEM Mini Pro. So see, there I am in front of my, actually now I'm in front of my desktop. The photo I took, the still photo of the desktop's from the same place where I did the video. So now I'm going to go back. fade back over. See, so now I'm on, see, program. There we go. See, now I'm in front of the video. And I go back, now I'm in front of the green screen. That's a manual transition. I'm just dragging that virtual handle. And then I can do different. I can do, there's a dip effect. So that's one type of transition. That's called a dip. And this one right here is called a wipe. See, there's the wipe effect. And then the mix. I think I like the mix. See, and then there's a cut. Let's see what cut does. Oh, it's just a hard cut. See, ding, 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 ding. So I go from with a green screen, no, in front of green screen, to green screen effect enabled. So that's a cut. Let's see, here's a fade to black. That's kind of cool. So fade to black, it darks it out. And then there's, see, this is all chroma key. Oh, one of the things that's cool, it's called flying key. Check this out. So see, there I am right there. And then I can reposition myself. And not only that, I can also resize myself. So I'm going to kind of go down here. See, watch this. And then I can do the size. So this is handy. And this is what I like to use when I'm doing the, when I've got live guests on and I'm doing the Skype. See, I can position myself. Let's see. The bottom of the screen here. Let's see. There we go. So see, now I'm at the bottom of the screen, but you can see the background in front of me. So it's using the green screen effect, except, you know, I'm not completely framed. I'm able to put, so if I want to share the desktop, see, I can do, let's see, cam 2, and then do an auto. So here's what I got to figure out. So there I am. So there I am with that, with the video. And if I go over there, is it still? Yes, so see, there I am with the still photo. Okay, let's see. So, I mean, there's a lot of things. So that's flying key we're just tinkering with right now is flying key. And then let's see what the other options are. We've got there's a mask. Let's see what a mask does. I'm trying to figure out mask. Huh. I don't know. I didn't. And see, you know, one thing that they've done with this, if you put your, like if you're using, let's see, let me bounce back over to the screen share here. So like if you're using, a an image, all those images after you power off the device, they're no longer stored. So if you're using these right here, if you've got still images loaded, those go away after you power off the device. So it'd be kind of cool if they'd let those stay, because, you know, every time, but I guess technically, you know, when you're, I don't know, I'd like for this to get to the point rather where it could save the settings. So when I fire up a new show, you know, granted it only takes a few minutes, but it would be nice if I could just jump in and not have to reload like the lower third graphic, which is the thing that says IrixGuy's live show or whatever. You know, it'd be nice if that would just automatically load. But I mean, this is a really, this in itself, the ATEM Mini Pro in itself is a super powerful tool. But again, when you combine it with when you combine the ATEM Mini Pro with this Rodecaster Pro that I'm using right now, I mean, it's a killer combo, because you're getting the audio and the, you know, the professional audio and the professional video. So yeah, and part of this right now, let's see, my upstream 5.6, 5.53, 4.79. Just looking at my own air status. That's one of the cool things, this multi-view. And again, unless they change it, you don't get the multi-view unless you get the ATEM Mini Pro. So if you just get the ATEM Mini, you don't get multi-view. And that's what I keep looking at now, is multi-view, because I can see program, which is me sitting here scratching my head. I can see that, so see what y'all see. And then I see the preview. So like if I flip over, if I click auto, you know, that's just my desktop. So, you know, that's just a still photo. And then I click back, boom, there I am in front of the green screen. It's been fed by the Apple TV 4K. So yeah, it's an impressive product without a doubt. And again, it's just one of those things, you know, I'm just now still learning all of the features, but you know, going through this and, you know, and learning that it actually works exceptionally well is awesome. And I mean, I haven't had any buffering during this live stream because I can see the buffering status. What I figured out the other day, if you've taken some videos and photos with your iPhone and it's in iCloud, a lot of the congestion I had the other day was because my iCloud was uploading a video, and I didn't see it. It wasn't my cloud backup. It was my iCloud for videos and photos. So that was kind of interesting. But see, now I can flip back over and do, instead of what's called flying key, I can take flying key off. Now it's just full, you know, I've got myself framed up with the camera, you know, really big in your face type thing. So let's see, you can do bars. You know, if you've seen, you know, TV production, like a lot of times, like when I'm starting a show, I'll put those bars up, and then, you know, maybe I'll have some intro music or whatever, like this. And so then I can come in and I can say, welcome to the show, and bring the volume down. And then I can click auto, which will cut, and it'll cut into me. So there's a lot of cool things. You can also do, let's see, what else can you do here? You can do, and I can stop that music by just pushing the button there. I can change my headphone volume, because see, I can, you know, when I've got live guests, I use these, and then that way there's no feedback, you know, echo and that sort of stuff. So, you know, like I said, I think the next big thing for this, the next big place to experiment is to create some macros and, you know, be able to perform these tasks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and template my live shows. So IrixGuy's live show, and then also Epic Drone Show. And for the various shots, you know, where I've got the intro video, and then I transition into me, you know, all of that's the kind of stuff I'm going to macro. So I think, you know, when you start to learn the macros in ATEM Mini Pro, I think that's where you get even more power out of it. So it's it's an impressive piece of hardware. But again, it in itself, you know, unless you have, and there's other types of mixers and stuff out there, but you know, I'm not an audio expert. So the thing I liked about the Rodecaster Pro, is that basically all I had to do is plug in my Rode mic, and I told the Rodecaster which Rode mic I had, and it just, you know, it asked a few simple questions. And I'll do a separate video of that where you can see everything, you know, on camera. But it's just really cool because you just select the mic and you say, do you have a deep voice, you know, whatever other terminology. I mean, just use basic terminology, and then it used your responses to fine tune the Rodecaster for your mic. It'll work with mics that aren't Rode branded mics as well, but since I like Rode mics and I got a Rode Rodecaster, it only made sense to get the Rode broadcast quality mic, you know, to go along with the Rodecaster, and I'm glad I did. I mean, it's you know, I never want to say that this type of technology is idiot proof, because it's definitely not, but it's definitely something that you can achieve these broadcast quality results without having, you know, without being an audio engineer or something like that. I mean, people that really know this stuff inside and out. You know, I'm definitely not to that level. I know video a lot better than I know audio. Let's put it that way. So, yeah, so this is just, again, just testing the equipment, you know, nothing too exciting here. But yeah, I love having that Apple TV 4K. That was definitely worth the investment for the green screen backdrop, for sure. And the other thing about that too, I mean, you know, if you share a screen, that's fine, but a lot of times, you know, if you're sharing a screen, you may have pop-ups, you may have you know, just stuff that can degrade the quality of your live stream. And, you know, and being able to use the Apple TV for the backdrop's nice, because that's just a stream video. You know, if it times out, you know, you see the Apple TV menu system, whoop-de-whoop, you know. So that's super cool. And let's see what else we got. You know, again, this is just testing. Figure the best way to test this stuff is to do it live, and then this way, you know, when I do the next live shows, man, I mean, it's all set up, and it's, you know, the lights are placed properly. I'm gonna have to move these lights. I've got there's a second set, and this is a small studio, but I've got a second set that I'll be introducing, and, you know, that's got a sofa, so that'll be kind of cool. Just to mix it up, you know, I can go from sofa to talk show set to sofa set, so that'll be nice. And let's see. Yeah, so I ought to have that pretty much any day now, and I'll put that in. And then I'll have to reposition the lights, and that's not going to be difficult, because, I mean, I've marked where they are. That's something you want to get if you move stuff around in the studio. You want to have something called GAF, G-A-F-F tape. It's basically tape, kind of like painter's tape in a way, and you can stick it to the floor or carpet or whatever and mark where your, you know, where you put your tripods, where you put your lights, where you put your desk, you know, all that kind of stuff. So if you move stuff around, it's easy to reposition that equipment after moving it around and have, you know, again, you know, you don't want to introduce, with video production, you don't want to introduce variables unless you have to in your studio. So if you can keep your studio consistent, if it's your studio, it's not a shared studio, you can keep everything where it is, where it belongs, and you've got all your stuff dialed in, your lighting, your video, your audio, you know, the stretch of your cables, you know exactly how far they need to extend to connect to the equipment. So it just, you know, makes it a lot easier. Yeah, this is great. So yeah, this little test, I've been testing this for 49 minutes, and it's solid, man. So again, appreciate y'all tuning in. This is just, you know, a live test. It's not intended to be anything else. It's just a live test of the ATEM Mini Pro and the Rode Rodecaster Pro. So it's performing exceptionally well, and, you know, I can't wait to tinker with some other things. I mean, I've already mastered integrating live face on video guest. Made that work fine. And I've already mastered, you know, bringing in a phone call. So, you know, someone calls the Soho studio, and they're able to, to become, be a guest on the live show by way of telephone. So that's cool. That works. Obviously, monitoring the audio with the headphones, that works. And I definitely recommend, and again, I've linked all of this equipment. I put a link within this video's description, but I definitely recommend professional studio microphones, or headphones rather, like these, because they're a step above, your garden variety earbud or, cheap headphone. I mean, you put these on, you can really hear how the broadcast sounds. And, that's important. You want to make sure your audio levels are good. You don't want anything that degrades the quality of your live stream. And again, this equipment could be used for podcasting as well. Something that I haven't gotten personally involved with is podcasting, but really thinking about it, since I'm making these, since I'm doing these live streams, it would probably be good to save the audio, the professional audio, and maybe start a podcast as well. Now, what I'd have to figure out, and again, uncharted territory for me, is how to monetize a podcast. And I know there's tons of people that monetize podcasts and they make a lot of money from it, but I want to make sure I don't overextend myself and have too many things going. I want to focus on the bread and butter. But if it's something as simple as recording the audio while I'm doing a live stream, such as this test stream, and then simply exporting the audio and uploading the audio to whatever podcast delivery system, I'll have to research that. But if it's that simple and it can add value to the channel, that's something I probably need to tinker with, because I've got this live streaming equipment, which is podcasting equipment. So if I can have a podcast as well, why not do it? It's just another opportunity for people to listen to the live streams. And I don't know. Hey, if there's an opportunity out there, a professional opportunity to have fun and make some money, man, I'm in. So, if podcasting's where it's at, I don't need to, I will, I will research that. So yeah, that's kind of exciting, man. Create a podcast. Now, by no means take away from the IrixGuy's Adventure channel on YouTube, but just something that could, supplemental content. There you go. Creating the content anyway on YouTube, why not record it and why not distribute it other ways as well? So yeah, that gave me an idea. Huh. I think I about tested everything I wanted to test today. I made big strides with this. This is good. It's been a reliable stream. There's still 0% buffering. This is called pattern. Huh. It's kind of weird. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. So there's DVE. Move myself around there. There's so much you can do with this. And the beauty of it is that it's a piece of hardware. Yeah, granted, I'm in the software right now, but it's just the software's controlling the hardware. So but I tell you, man, looking at ATEM Mini Pro, if somebody asked me like, man, why should I purchase ATEM Mini Pro? Well, number one, you should get it instead of the ATEM Mini. Yeah, it's probably about twice as expensive, but again, you're getting the ability, just like this live stream is streamed directly from the ATEM Mini Pro out of its network port, out of its Ethernet port. So that's super cool. The multi-view, which is what I'm looking at on the studio monitor, and I'll put together a video of showcasing multi-view so you can see what it looks like. But that's just you know, a feature that you get with the ATEM Mini Pro that you don't with the ATEM Mini. And, you know, for production, for a studio monitor to see what's going on, to look over at it. And, you know, again, I've got mine through a splitter, so I've got one on that wall too. You know, being able to see all of that, see what your preview is, what you're getting ready to share to your audience, with your audience, and then the program view, which is what the audience is seeing. You know, that's invaluable. And then also the, you know, being able to see the audio levels, that's super nice. And being able to see the, speaking of that, one thing I would like for them to do in the ATEM software control, you can select output. If you don't want to do multi-view, you can view the individual, you can view the 4 HDMI inputs, the program view, or the preview view, but you cannot view the audio view. Why don't they let you go full screen with the audio view? That's kind of goofy. Surely they could add that enhancement. So, I mean, that's a small nitpicky comment, but I wanted to throw it out there. I mean, why is it not there? Why is it not an option? I think it should be. But yeah, I mean, this is just super reliable. And again, the, you know, the ability to see the on air status tells me I'm on the air, but also see the megabits per second that it's upstreaming. And then, you know, the big OK, which means it's not caching or buffering. If numbers start popping up, then you know it's starting to buffer or cache. This show's been going, and it'll show it's got a timer as well. This show's been running for 57 minutes and 12 seconds, and there's been 0 caching, 0 buffering. So that is super cool. You know, I can't remember a time. There was never a time. And, you know, when I was using a software solution, the Wirecast, which I liked Wirecast, and it was kind of cool being able to do it all in one program and this, that, and the other. But man, since I've transitioned from Wirecast, number one, I don't have that subscription fee anymore. Yeah, I did spend a lot for this hardware, so I've got to recover that. You know, recover. What am I trying to say? I got to make enough from this hardware to justify the expense, return on investment, ROI. So, you know, but it's worth it. I feel it's worth it because now I'm away from the software. And the only software I have is the software that controls the hardware. And that's optional. You know, I can do most everything from the hardware except for loading the PNG images and adjusting the audio levels and stuff like that. So it's, it's just this is a really slick piece of hardware. You know, Blackmagic they've really knocked it out of the park with this. And again, this wouldn't be as cool as it is if I didn't have the Rodecaster Pro plugged in. We got a comment in here. Let's see. Let me see. I'm going to read your comment. Vohas88. Hello. I just tuned in. I saw your setup before with Rodecaster. The question is, do you delay audio before you stream? Sync with video? Actually, I haven't had to sync the audio, although you can sync the audio within the ATEM software control. I haven't had to do it. And I've got that, you know, you said you watched that video, but I've got just to kind of pull out the audio portion of it. So I didn't do any audio synchronization. So all that I've done, I've got my Rodecaster Pro right here on my desk, and then the monitor out, you know, the left and right channel audio out, monitor out. That cable runs from Rodecaster Pro into my ATEM Mini Pro Mic 1. And then, of course, the Mic 1 on the ATEM Mini Pro, I went into the advanced settings and changed it from microphone to line. And that was a super important step because otherwise you'll probably get noise and buzz. But that's all that I've done, man. And then I've got my Rode microphone right here plugged into microphone jack, XLR jack number 1 on the Rode Rodecaster Pro. So what I'm showing in my program view up there on my studio monitor, it looks like my lips and audio are in sync. And again, I haven't had to adjust anything. I haven't had to synchronize anything. Interesting question though, and I'm going to pop open my my screen share here so y'all can see this. something that, let's see, oops. Yeah, so we're gonna flip over to, I'm gonna show my Cam 2, which now you can see my desktop here, and I'm going to maximize ATEM software control. This, of course, is the, as you know, this is the Blackmagic software interface for the ATEM Mini Pro. It talks over the network. And again, so yeah, you've got to have your ATEM Mini Pro plugged into the network for this to work. But what I'm going to show you here is the place you would go. So if your audio was not, and keep in mind, if you haven't updated the firmware for your ATEM Mini Pro, this is a feature I don't think was present within the previous firmware version. So let's see, let me pull this. I've got this on a monitor across the room, so I'm going to pull it over here so I can intelligently show you where it is here. Let's see, so I'm on 0. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Now, see, I'm going to get really out of sync here in a second. I bet my audio is really out of sync. So, let's see. So, you can adjust, if you want to adjust your audio sync, see right here where it's got these zeros? You can change that to whatever. You can move the knob. See, now I'm going to get, my audio is probably really wonky. You can move that. I just had it on the default setting, which was 0, 0, and I'm going to flip it back over here so I can set it back to 0, 0. But see, now it's just 0, 0 frames. So, yeah, 0, 0 is what I'm using, and by using 0, 0, I haven't, oh, wait a minute, I went into the, sorry. Yeah, so by using 0, 0, I've been synced up. Let's see, I can look at myself right now on the camera. I'm in sync, 1, 2, 1, 2. Not to say that's the case for everyone, and, you know, I will tell you, and I don't really think the type of audio equipment I have makes a difference in this scenario, but I can tell you when I was using before I switched to ATEM Mini Pro and Rodecaster Pro, when I was using Wirecast with a USB microphone, there were often a lot of times where even if it wasn't out of sync at the start of the show, that the audio and video would get out of sync during the show. And it was kind of a crapshoot with, with Wirecast and a USB mic. With this, I found that the audio is, maybe it's just luck or whatever, but, I'm not having to adjust the frames to enable the the audio to sync with the video. So I mean that's been super convenient. And one suggestion I would have, if you're not using the Rodecaster Pro, something you may want to do if you're fumbling with audio and video sync issues, something you may want to do. You may want to consider just attaching a lavalier mic. Like I use a wireless, before I did this, I used a Rode Wireless Go lavalier mic system for my camera. And for my live streams, if you're not using the Rodecaster Pro, what you could do is you could just plug in, even a shotgun mic for that matter, plug a microphone into your camera and then go to, just use on the ATEM Mini Pro, let's say it's connected to camera 1, just turn on the audio for camera 1, and that's going to pass the the camera's microphone into your live stream. So, but again, in my case, you know, as I mentioned, I've got Rodecaster Pro going into ATEM Mini Pro mic 1 jack, and then I've got mic 1 jack set to line instead of microphone mode. And then I've got my camera plugged into camera 1, HDMI 1 on the ATEM Mini Pro with the audio muted. So the only active audio that I have on the ATEM Mini Pro's end is mic 1, which is everything coming from my Rodecaster. And then also, if I'm doing a video conference, cam 2, which is what I have as my extended laptop's display, that's where I'll drag all my Skype participants or Uber conference participants. And then on that, you know, obviously, I would enable audio for that, because that's, no, wait a minute. Now I confused myself. I would not enable audio for that. See, this gets really confusing. So, like when I have people on the air on Skype, I've also got my Rodecaster Pro plugged into my laptop by way of USB. So when I launch Skype, even though I'm showing it on camera 2 from my ATEM Mini Pro, camera 2 is my computer's extended desktop, but it has the audio muted. But on the actual laptop, when I go into Skype, when I select the microphone, I select Rodecaster Pro. When I select the speaker, I select Rodecaster Pro. So what ends up happening, everything I'm saying, everything the guests are saying, that is all going from Rodecaster Pro to microphone input 1 of the ATEM Mini Pro, which obviously that's what the YouTube viewers, y'all are hearing, is microphone 1. The only other audio input that I will unmute on the ATEM Mini Pro is one of my 2 Apple TVs. Because if I'm using those and it's a situation where I've got music or background sound effects, I will enable that audio. But the green screen I'm using now, I've got audio off. I mean, there's no audio. But I could add, nature sounds, or, people chatting or whatever, the beach sounds of birds and all that kind of stuff. So it's really, or likewise, I wouldn't have to add it I wouldn't have to enable that microphone. If I had, something saved on my Rode Podcaster Pro, I could just play that sound effect or whatever. So, I mean, this is a very powerful streaming solution. I mean, not just for YouTube Live, but, if you're using it for Facebook, I mean, if you're using it for professional video conferencing, I mean, you can make yourself look very professional. And I mean, this may be an overkill solution for most people that would otherwise buy a webcam, but you just can't get with a webcam, a USB webcam, whether it's a $20 webcam or a $400 webcam, you can often never achieve the quality with that you can with with a mirrorless camera with a good lens and something like the ATEM Mini Pro, and then combining that with the Rodecaster Pro for the audio. I mean, it's blown my mind. And I mean, part of the reason I've gone into all of this is just, obviously the current situation that we're in, and being, trying to find, professional activities that can be performed in a socially distanced fashion. So, this is a great tool. This is a great skill set to learn right now, because it's something that, there's tons of people out there that need a professional video conferencing solution. And there's streamers out there, new YouTube livers and new Facebook livers, people that are coming to the playing field now because they've realized that, things that they used to enjoy in the past, getting out and, doing things around other people, it's just, I mean, unfortunately, it's questionable now if you should be around other people or not. So that's, it's a great time to get involved with this. And I'm just lucky that I was able to discover this. I mean, I just, how it is, you get on YouTube and start researching the topic. And, my topic was just, how to create, the best live stream. And, one thing led to another, and I found all these different products. And then I found, well, Rode makes this. I'm like, man, I love Rode. because I've been using Rode. Actually, all of my microphones now are Rode. I had a Sony mic that I used on my Sony Alpha cameras for several years. Stereo mic sounded really good, but you know, once I started using the Rode Wireless Go, you know, that I've got, actually got it right here. You know, once I started using this, and then, you know, for more professional situations, I would use the Rode Wireless Go with the cases over there. I would use the Rode Wireless Go with the lavalier attached. You just get a consistent, sound from Rode. So I use the Rode lavalier Go, Wireless Go, and then on top of the camera, I've got just a basic, doesn't require a battery, Rode Video Micro. And then here I've got the Rode Pod mic attached to the Rodecaster Pro. So, and then I've got a Rode NT1, the shotgun mic. I'm not using it right now, but it's good for a lot of scenarios. Voha says Zoom H6 industry standard. So it would be interesting to see if line out from Zoom H6 would have any lag issues using line in option on the ATEM. Thank you. Very nice setup. Keep up. Cheers from Europe. Hey man, no problem. You know, now, you know, let me, if you want to, let me know how that goes. Cause it's, you know, again, the only thing I've used is, you know, is this Rodecaster Pro with this setup. Let me step back from that. That's what I'm using now. But prior to purchasing my Rodecaster Pro, I just had the camera's audio only. I had it, you know, the camera one within ATEM Mini Pro audio enabled. And then I had my, you know, my Rode Wireless Go plugged into the camera. And then my receiver or transmitter, I guess I should say, on my shirt. And if I was more professional, then I would wire my lavalier go through my shirt and strap this to my underwear and just have the cable going up my shirt. So that's, yeah, I mean, that's going to be interesting. Hopefully it works out for you, man, because I tell you, you get a professional video conference. I mean, audio and video. I don't know. I mean, if you have poor audio or if you have poor video, you just don't have the impact that you should have. And it's, you can get rock solid video and audio, man. I mean, that's, you know, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, professional meeting conferences, whatever. So, yeah, best of luck, man. Hope it works out for you. Yeah, it's interesting, you know, putting together a live test like this. I mean, this is just, and the other part of this test was people are out there searching. I mean, just like Vojas. I mean, he stumbled upon this, probably a YouTube search or a Google search, and you know, actually, we'll see. He said he saw your setup with the Rode Podcaster. So, yeah, that's it's interesting how many people are searching for this. But again, everyone, you know, this is just a test, and any questions y'all have, I'm about to conclude this live test, but, you know, comment below, ask questions. I'm looking for video ideas. You know, I want to better educate myself on how to use this, but if there's a question or, you know, feedback that you have, or, you know, stumbling block or whatever, you know, whatever it is, just let me know. Cause, you know, I'm trying to do whatever. And if it's something really cool, you know, maybe I can kick off a you know, live test of whatever and see how it works. So yeah, this is fun stuff, man. I can't wait to learn more about it and share more with the world. I mean, this is just some cool tech, man. And I love my technology, stuff that I don't already know. You know, that's part of the thrill, is getting in and learning this stuff as you go. And that's a true testament to Rode with the Rodecaster Pro. I mean, for somebody I'm not an audio engineer, someone that's, you know, somewhat well-versed with video production and video editing, but someone that's not necessarily, you know, up to snuff with the audio side, being able to just basically plug and play with this thing is fantastic. So thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, but this will be you can play this back later if you want to. If there's any, you know, value that you found within this video, share it with others. You know, feel free to embed this video. There's an embed link. You know, you can embed videos within websites or blogs or whatever. So you know, I'm all about sharing information. So thank y'all for tuning in again. Not a formal show at all, just a live test, and I'm happy with the results. It's 0 buffering, and this has been running for an hour and almost 16 minutes. 0 buffering, 0 caching. So that's rock solid. Y'all have a good day.